morning from a beautiful Puebla City, Mexico. Puebla City is a colonial era planned city, and the historic center is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's said to be one of the most historic cities in all of Mexico. Apparently, Puebla City has more monuments than any other city in all of Latin America. Plan is to spend 48 hours here in beautiful Puebla, and as always, I'm taking you guys on the adventure with me. So right now I'm just heading down to Calle 6 or Calle Says, which is supposed to be super colourful and home to many coffee shops and antique stores. So this is where I'm going to start my day. I really need a coffee, and then I'm going to take a little walk around the city and show you guys what you need to see. Oh wow, I've just made it here to Calle 6, and this has to be one of the most colourful streets in the entire city. So this is where I'm gonna go for coffee. Here is the menu. About $2 for a chai latte, or just less than $2 for a cappuccino. So my breakfast just arrived. I got like the house special omelette. I think it's got goat's cheese in there. So now I can enjoy my breakfast with a view. Now, depending on what time of day you're here, like I'm here for breakfast, like I said, a lot of the antique shops are not open yet, but if you are here later in the day, I highly suggest checking out some of the cute little antique stores. And also right down here at the end of this street, Calle 6, is La Pasita, which is apparently the oldest cantina or oldest bar in the city, and it's very famous for this sort of raisin flavored shot that they serve with cheese. So I think I'm going to come here later and see if I can check that out. Right across from La Pasita, you will also find a small artisan market. A lot of people selling traditional souvenirs, frames, silver, cameras, all sorts of things. Oh my god, my niece would love this car. How fun is that car? After you finish breakfast, I recommend taking a stroll up to the Zocalo, which is in the historic center of town and is the city center square or park that you will find in every city in Mexico. This one is located next to the cathedral, which you see here behind me, and it is a really beautiful park where currently they have all of the city's Christmas lights. I was actually here last night when they turned the Christmas lights on, and it really changed the entire atmosphere of the city. Check it out.
Come joining us all, the feeling is here today.
Okay, so if I've calculated this properly, and I hope I have, at the end of Calle 6, after the antiques market, you take a left, go right down to the main road, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you'll be able to get a bus to Cholula, which is like the main day trip here from Puebla. So just a bit of background on why I want to take the bus and not do a day tour. I used to be a big fan of day tours, but I did one in Chiapas when I was in San Cristobal, and I just felt it was so rushed. They gave us so little time in each place that we visited, and it was like 1 hour at the waterfall, 1 hour at the lake. I didn't have time to do videos or take photos or even just enjoy the place. So since then, I'm pretty determined not to do day trips and just to figure it out for myself, and then I can share it with you guys, like how to get there, how easy it is. Now there's a bus stop here, so maybe, fingers crossed, this is where you get the bus to Cholula. Okay, slight change of plan. I was gonna get the bus, but I've just figured out that Uber works here, and this is the first city I've been so far in Mexico where Uber actually works. So I downloaded the app and then checked how much it would cost to go to Cholula, which is like over half an hour away. It's only 80 pesos. It's like $4 or €3. So rather than taking two different buses, I'm gonna get an Uber. As I ended up seeing and doing quite a lot in Cholula, and later that afternoon in the neighbouring Pueblo Magico of Atlixco, I'll have an entire video dedicated to these two towns on my channel. For now, here's a quick snapshot of why you should visit these two colourful magic towns outside of Puebla on a day trip. Cholula is famous for many reasons. The first being that it is said to be the oldest continuously inhabited town in all of the Americas. It's also home to the largest pyramid in the world, in terms of volume. However, only the bottom of the pyramid has been excavated, so when you look at it, with the yellow convent perched on top, it looks more like a hill in the middle of town rather than an ancient pyramid. Cholula is also said to have 365 churches, one for every day of the year, and a bustling market and street food scene. The nearby town of Atlixco is also most definitely worth a visit. I actually thought this town had more character and was more beautiful to visit than Cholula. It's one of the most colourful towns I've ever visited in my life. There's also a beautiful church on top of the hill, and the best part of all, a famous volcano forms the backdrop of this quirky hillside town. There's a hill right up there. Every building is a different colour. There's another one down there. There's one up here. You can easily visit both of these towns on a day trip before heading back to Puebla for dinner. I have come here to Comal for dinner, as this is one of the restaurants here in Puebla City that is famous for their mole. If we're talking about mole is famous in two regions in Mexico, Oaxaca, where I've just come from, and Puebla, which is where I am now. Now, I didn't get a chance to try many different types of mole when I was in Oaxaca. So I heard here you can try 3 different types on one plate. You've got green, red, and mole that looks kind of chocolatey, I have to say. Looks pretty amazing. I'll show you guys an up-close shot. And this one has got avocado and onions, and I think what looks like sesame seeds on top. In case you're like me and we're a bit clueless as to what mole essentially just means sauce. So it's sort of just like a sauce that Mexicans use in their food, and it has like 20 to 30 different ingredients and can take up to an entire day to make. The recipes get passed down from generation to generation, and it's very popular in the Puebla region and also in Oaxaca. Poblano mole. Like I said, I have not actually had this yet. It's almost like somebody has put chocolate on my enchilada. How weird. Really? It tastes like chocolate. Chocolate mixed with gravy. Good morning, guys. Sadly, today is my last full day here in beautiful Puebla. Had a very busy day yesterday, obviously visiting Cholula and Atlixco. But today I'm starting off my morning back here in the historic city centre, and I'm in search of a good cup of coffee. So I'm going to head over to Cafe Cultura, which is meant to be the best cup of coffee in the city. My plan for today is to see some more of the historic centre here in Puebla, sort of go see the sites that I missed yesterday. So I'm going to start off at the Biblioteca Palafociana, probably saying that all wrong, but anyway, it's a library here in the city of Puebla, and it's meant to be the oldest library in all of Latin America. So I'm going to go see if it's open now and see if I can have a look inside. Let's go. So that was a nice quick stop. Smelled like you would expect an old library to smell, pretty nice. It's very beautiful, very old, but you only need about 5 minutes, but it's only like $2 to get in. So you can go in, have a quick look around, and then continue on with your day. If you guys are looking to go shopping while here in Puebla, there's a few different areas I can recommend. So the first one is right next to the Alley of the Frogs, which is that super colourful street I went to yesterday and had my breakfast on, where you can find all those antiques. So at one end of that Alley of the Frogs, you'll find an antiques market like I showed you, and at the opposite end you'll actually find an artisan craft market with jewellery like rings and necklaces and all sorts of handcrafted jewellery and souvenirs. Just around the corner you will actually find another quite cool hip artist area. A lot of students in this area. I think there's an art school, and here you will find people that are a bit more creative. As you can see, the streets have graffiti and paintings everywhere, and people are just sort of sitting around and making their own crafts for you to buy. There are so many artist areas I got confused. The first area I walked through is just your run-of-the-mill artisan craft market. They're on like every street in the city. The next area I went to with the colourful tiles on the floor, that market was like La Parian. And this area is Barrio de las Artistas. So there's all of these doors, and inside of each door there's paintings. I guess, you know, an artist or a painter kind of sits inside each of these doors and does his craft. So yeah, there's so many artist areas in the city, I got a little bit confused. And to clarify once again, I think what the difference between Barrio de las Artistas, which is the area I'm in right now, it's more like fine art. These are people that have really perfected their talents and their skills, and they're probably selling their paintings for not loads of money, but quite a bit of money. Whereas the other areas, the jewellery and the crafts and stuff you buy is sort of like your normal Mexican prices. So I think that would be the main difference. This area is so colourful. There's cafes, there's restaurants. Sometimes apparently there's live music, and you can just see painters sitting around painting new paintings. Whew, I'm totally stuffed after that lunch. I had a torta milanesa with chipotle dressing or chipotle sauce. It wasn't that spicy, but it was really tasty. But I do want to make one last stop before I kind of finish up with Puebla, and that is Calle de los Dulce, which means sweet street. It's like a street with all these sweet stores, candy stores. So let's go. So I've got some chocolate honeycomb going in the bag. There's garbanzo, which is chickpeas. It's only 7 pesos. Okay guys, so if you walk up Calle de los Dulce, which is the street I'm on right now, and I just bought some candy, you will see on your right hand side the Museum of the Revolution. So this museum tells the story of the Mexican Revolution from 1910 to 1920, and you can actually still see crazy bullet holes on the wall on the outside facade.
I'll take you to the candy shop. Yeah. One more taste of what I got. I'll have you spending all you got.
I really hope you guys enjoyed my guide to colourful Puebla. If you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and think about subscribing to my channel below for more Mexico travel videos.